Hello YouTube, it's Mr. Magz here, and there's this little game coming out in December. I don't know if you've heard about it. Smash Bros. Ultimate? Yeah, well, even though it's probably the game I've been the most excited about, maybe the game I'm the most excited about in history of video games, I haven't really talked much about it. The last time I mentioned it was during the E3 recap over on the Nerd Nut podcast, which is the podcast you should totally watch. I'll link the card wherever that is. And I thought I would remedy that today because I really, really love the concept of Echo Fighters. Now, every fighting game has clone characters, and Smash Bros. Is obviously no stranger to this, and especially since Smash 4, a lot of people got kind of mad at the inclusion of Dark Pit Lucina and Dr. Mario, with the idea that they were taking up slots. I really like the idea that Sakurai took that concept of just having clones, naming them something else, and everyone is okay with it. Like, before E3 this year, I would have been mad if Daisy were an actual character in Smash Bros. Because I just don't like her as a character. But because they acknowledged the fact that, hey, we couldn't really think of anything unique to do with her, so we're just going to make her up like a fancy clone of Peach, I really like that. So I thought today I would go through the entire Smash Bros. 5 roster as of now and just give my opinions of who I think every single character, if they had an Echo character, what that Echo would be. And I'm doing this because I would be perfectly fine if there was like 20 plus Echoes in this game. They clearly don't take a long time to make, maybe like a week or two just to get the model right, just change one or two moves here and there. So as long as they don't take too much development time, having 20 plus Echoes, I would not have a problem with, especially if they don't take away from development time of other characters, other new characters. So yeah, this is just pie in the sky. If every single character I can think of gets an Echo, this is what I would want. So starting, of course, with Mario. I'm a little surprised that Dr. Mario isn't considered an Echo of Mario. I guess his moveset was differentiated enough in Smash 4 to be considered his own character now, so that's fine. But if we are just to have Mario have an Echo Fighter, I couldn't really think of anything that's outside of like another Mario. Like if they had like N64 graphic style Mario, which is something some people are throwing around. Paper Mario I don't think would really work all that well, and any other like iteration would more or less, like if you took inspiration specifically from Mario from Super Mario RPG or the Mario and Luigi series, he would have his own moveset aside from what Mario already has. So if they had differentiated Mario a lot, like using a lot of capture mechanics and just other things from more recent games, then I could easily see an argument for a more N64 style inspired Mario to go alongside this newer Mario. But since they kept Mario pretty much the same, he doesn't really deserve one in my opinion. Same thing with Luigi. I couldn't really think of anything outside of Mr. L, and I'm going to at least mention this throughout the rest of the video, but I'm going to be straying away from Echo Fighters that are essentially the same character as the character they're based on. Like Mr. L, it's not a brand new character, it's just Luigi in a different outfit. So I wouldn't really consider that an Echo character. It's just literally just another Luigi, and I wouldn't really like that. And outside of Luigi, Mr. L, I couldn't really think of anyone for Luigi. Peach already has Daisy. Bowser, I feel that if they included Dry Bowser, that would be a little different from the Mr. L situation. Because Dry Bowser clearly is distinguished as his own character within the Mario expanded universe or whatever. He's in Mario Kart. He has Pretty sure he has his own moves when you do fight Dry Bowser in the Mario games. So if they wanted to have Dry Bowser, he would have essentially the same moveset as Bowser, but I would consider Dry Bowser more of a different character to Bowser than Mr. L is to Luigi. So Bowser Jr., he already has the Koopalings as all of his outfits, and I wouldn't want 8 different Echo Fighters for Bowser Jr. That would just be insane. So just keep Bowser Jr. how he is, and have the different Koopalings be the skins. Maybe if they wanted to have like an Echo that is all the Koopalings, and just have Bowser Jr. be his own slot, and have the Koopalings be their own slot, I'd be fine with that. Maybe, but I don't think that's necessary per se. Yoshi, maybe Birdo. Birdo hasn't really gotten a lot of representation in more recent Mario games. I think the last one they were in was Mario Kart Wii? No, they haven't been in like a mainline Mario game since then. They might have been in one of the spin-offs, I'm not sure. And Birdo I could easily see, like, instead of the eggs that Yoshi has, the eggs that shoot out of their like nose hole thing, you could angle them. You just, it'll pretty much be the same basic concept, and plus their model is very similar to Yoshi, so it could work. Rosalina, I don't really think there's a character that would really fit an Echo for Rosalina. Dr. Mario, again, I'm surprised he's not technically an Echo for Mario, but because he's not, that opens up the idea of Dr. Luigi. I know they technically do have different like proportions, but if it wouldn't take too much more development time to make Dr. Luigi an Echo of Dr. Mario, or just make Dr. Luigi an Echo of Luigi, that could work too. Wario, I think it would be hilarious. Me and my roommate have talked about this. It'd be hilarious if Waluigi was a Wario Echo, but with the same proportions. That would just, it wouldn't happen because Waluigi, of course, is not going to be a character in the game since he's an assist trophy. But if lanky, skinny, weird Waluigi was introduced in this game with the same, fat, round proportions as Wario, I think that would just be hilarious, and I would love that. But again, it's probably not actually going to happen. Donkey Kong, I could easily see Funky Kong being in there. Funky Kong was added into Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze on the Switch, so he's in the mind share of people nowadays. So like, and they have very similar proportions, so I could see it working. Diddy Kong, obviously Dixie Kong. Dixie Kong, I feel, might warrant her like own character, especially since her up B would be drastically different, and I'm not really sure. I think there might be something she could do outside of the peanut gun, but like, there have been other Echoes already introduced, like Chrom, where they take elements from different characters from the same franchise and basically have a composite Echo. So Dixie Kong's up B could be more similar to either like King K. Rool's or Donkey Kong's up B. Speaking of which, King K. Rool, I don't know enough about him to really determine that. Plus, just in general, I'm going to go out on the limb here and say outside of Simon and Richter, there's not going to be any new characters introduced to this game that will have Echoes unless they are introduced as a pair like Simon and Richter were. So I don't think K. Rool will get one. Moving on to the Zelda series, Link. I guess Dark Link. You have Dark Samus, so why not have Dark Link as well? I don't think it's necessary since you already have 3 different Links in this game as it is. Again, Young Link is not technically an Echo fighter since he has, I guess, different proportions, and he was a staple from Melee. So if they wanted to have an Echo for Link, I guess Dark Link would be the best one I could think of. Or maybe that like shadowy spirit that teaches Link sword combat in Twilight Princess, which is technically the spirit of the Link from Ocarina of Time. That could work. Toon Link. The only one I could really think of for Toon Link was Tetra, and I know Tetra could easily have her own moveset, but like if they wanted to have Tetra in the game, but they didn't want to, they either like couldn't think enough, they couldn't take enough from the source material to give her own moveset, or they just wanted to get her in real quick. I think making Tetra an echo of Toon Link could work fairly well. Zelda. Hilda from Link Between Worlds. I think her design, Zelda's design in Smash 5 is already taken from A Link Between Worlds, so having Hilda and Echo does make perfect sense there. Sheik. Impa needs to be in this game. Whether as an Echo Fighter of Sheik or just as her own character, Impa needs to be in this game. There needs to be a character that's not a part of the Triforce represented in Smash Bros. And I think Impa is the perfect choice. She's been in more Zelda games than any other just kind of one-off character like Zant or Girahim. I don't really think they deserve it over Impa, since Impa's been there, I think, since Ocarina of Time. I think she was in Majora's Mask, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that. I haven't played that game in forever. She's obviously in Skyward Sword. I think she was in Twilight Princess. Again, I haven't played it in a while. So, just Impa either being an echo of Sheik or just being in this game, period, is something I really, really want from Smash Ultimate. But I think her best bet is being an echo of Sheik. Ganondorf, the best one I could think of was Demise, and I feel like that could work fairly well, since, I mean, Ganondorf is more or less the spirit of Demise, if I'm not mistaken. The story of Skyward Sword was a bit confusing for me, so I'm not entirely sure exactly how Ganon connects to Demise, but I'm pretty sure like Ganon is part of the spirit that Demise cursed or whatever to wreak out on Hyrule forever. Again, if I'm not mistaken, I apologize. So Demise, again, they have pretty similar body types. They both, especially since Ganondorf now plays with a sword for his smash moves, I think that could easily work into Demise with his big sword as well. Mr. Game & Watch, no idea. Maybe some other Game & Watch inspired character, but I wouldn't put money on that. Samus, who already got Dark Samus. Zero Suit Samus, I think it would be kind of funny if they had like a dark Zero Suit Samus to pair up with Dark Samus. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I think that would just be pretty funny. I know that's not canon at all, but something I've kind of wanted ever since Brawl is for Smash to kind of fudge the lore of these games just a little bit, to have fun with new characters, like with a Dark Zero Suit Samus. There is nothing in the lore that talks about Dark Zero Suit Samus. If I'm not mistaken, I think Dark Samus is just like, there's nothing really inside of Dark Samus. That's just the form this thing takes. So Dark Zero Suit has no bearing on Dark Samus at all. I just think it would be really funny if they did that. Yeah, it's probably not going to happen, but I think it'd be funny. Ridley, we already have Meta Ridley as a costume for Ridley, so I'm also going to rule all those out. Any that could potentially be costumes like Mr. L, any that could potentially be costumes, I think, don't deserve their own Echo Fighter. But unless it just makes perfect sense for them to be their own character. Like how Daisy was a skin for Peach, and it made sense in Smash 4 and Brawl, I think. And I'm pretty sure Peach had the Daisy skin in Brawl. But now that Daisy's an Echo Fighter, this kind of makes sense there, that she would no longer have that Daisy skin. Kirby. Yarn Kirby, I don't know if it would like work the same way. Instead of maybe instead of just sucking like his regular B is, he like sends out the rope and like draws you in, and that's the only difference. Again, it's kind of a situation where if they wanted to put Yarn Yoshi or Yarn Kirby in, he would probably be his own character. But if they wanted to have some, if they wanted to have some Echo for Kirby, I guess Yarn Kirby would be the closest thing to that, because I can't really think of any other character that's like Kirby where they suck people up and change powers and all that. Oh, and I guess kind of going off that mindset, a Yarn Yoshi could also work for a costume for Yoshi. So just throwing that out there. Meta Knight, either Galactonite or Dark Meta Knight. Preferably Galactonite, although again it's kind of a situation where I feel Galactonite could maybe have like its own unique character slot, but like it doesn't need to. It could easily just be a skin of or an Echo for Meta Knight. Same with Dark Meta Knight. Dark Meta Knight literally exists to just be, the dark version of Meta Knight, so that would be a much easier Echo. But I personally really like Galactonite as a design and as just a character as a whole. Plus, Meta Knight has had the Galactonite skin. I think he got it in Smash 4, and so far that kind of seems to be a pattern of new skins in Smash 4 becoming Echo fighters, like Dark Samus, like Chrom for, I guess technically Chrom is a Roy Echo, but Marth had a more or less a Chrom skin. I think Ike did too. So Galactonite being an Echo for Meta Knight just kind of makes sense given that context. And I think he more or less had a Dark Meta Knight skin too, so it could easily go either way. King Deity, kind of like the same concept with Mr. L. Masked Deity is just King Deity with a mask on, so I don't really think it warrants its own character, although I would like Masked Deity to be a costume. A costume for Deity. Moving on to Star Fox. For Fox, it would be a little, I don't know, like if disappointing is the right word, but it'd be a bit weird to have any of these people get Echoes, especially since Fox, Falco, and Wolf already essentially are clones of each other. Like, there really isn't that much different. I mean, they differentiate them enough between Fox and Falco and Wolf, but like the base moveset is still pretty much the same. So having Echoes for any of these characters would just be more Fox, I guess. Although that didn't stop them from having Roy, Lucina, and Chrom and Marth all in the same game. So I wouldn't put it past them to add either James McLeod, Slippy, Peppy, Pigma, Andrew, Leon Panther, just any other, even Crystal if you wanted to make that her an Echo of Falco or whatever. Just any other pilot in this franchise, just have them be an Echo. I'd be fine with it. I wouldn't necessarily love it because it would just be, more of the same character. But like I said, they already have like half the Fire Emblem roster is already cloned, so it's not a big deal. Now, Pokemon. Pikachu, since they already have the Luchador Pikachu Pikachu Libre as a skin, I don't really think anyone from Pikachu is gonna make an appearance as an Echo. Jigglypuff, there's not really anyone for Jigglypuff. That's kind of my mindset for a lot of these Pokemon. There's not much room for Echoes, unless you wanted to have like shiny versions of them as Echoes, but then like what's the point? They would literally play the same. So although for Dark Mewtwo from Pokken Tournament, I think could make an interesting Echo for Mewtwo in Smash Bros. This is kind of the mindset I had where I would love to see Smash kind of fudge the lore a little bit, kind of like how Dark Mewtwo doesn't exist in anything outside of Pokken. So and then Pokken, just kind of took that out of nowhere. So having that in Smash, I feel, could easily work. Pichu, it'd be cute to have like the notched ear or the Pikachu colored Pichu from those events from Heart Gold Soul Silver to be at least skins of Pichu for Smash 5, but I don't see Pichu or Greninja or Lucario having echoes. It would be interesting to have a Pokemon trainer, not necessarily an echo, but a Pokemon trainer that has the same general idea as the one in this game. Like, let's say have a Gen 7 Pokemon trainer that has Popplio, Torracat, and Decidueye. I feel that could work very well. Or Rowlet, Torracat, Decidueye, or just any combination, or Rowlet, Brione, or Incineroar. Just any combination of those three starters you want to throw in there. Preferably having Decidueye be the final one, but that's just my opinion. I don't think it's gonna happen per se, but like if they wanted to do that, I would not be upset. So Earthbound, Ness, obviously Ninten, they pretty much have the same character design anyway, and they have a lot of clearly using moves that aren't ones they know isn't a problem for Earthbound characters in Smash 5, because I'm pretty sure pretty much every single move both Lucas and Ness use in Smash 5, they can't even use in their respective games, so having Ninten be a Ness clone just makes sense. With Lucas, either Klaus or the Masked Man be an echo, and I want to make the distinction either Klaus or the Masked Man, because I feel, especially since Mother 3 hasn't come out of Japan yet, a lot of people in America haven't played this character. So seeing the Masked Man and Klaus be the same character just as costumes, I feel that would be a major spoiler for people who might play Smash 5, and then if Mother 3 actually does come out in America, they might want to play that, but if they already were spoiled the fact that Klaus is the Masked Man, that might be a problem. So either Klaus or the Masked Man. Yeah. Little Mac. Either like Glass Joe or Piston Hondo or some other fighter from the Punch-Out game that's not like super big or super bulky, like no King Hippo or anything like that, like someone who has the general model of Little Mac. Maybe you might have to make him a little taller in order to fit the game better, but I think if they were to add a new Punch-Out character, it would pretty much be a clone of Little Mac anyway, so just make one of them an echo. Now for Fire Emblem. I don't know enough about Fire Emblem to really say if any of these characters should have echoes, especially Robin or Corrin. I didn't play either Awakening or Fates, so there might be characters in those games that could easily work as echoes, but I'm not informed enough to really make a decision on that. I wouldn't mind if Ike got an echo of the Black Knight. I know that would be, I think, 8 Fire Emblem characters, but so far, from everything we can tell, especially after that King K. Rool trailer, this game is putting a lot of emphasis on heroes versus villains. And even though there are, I think, 7 Fire Emblem characters, not a single one of them is the villain. So having the Black Knight just be a skin or an echo of Ike, I feel could have another Fire Emblem character that wouldn't take up a slot, and also it would add a new villain to this game. Pit, we already got Dark Pit. Palutena, I guess Viridi could technically be an echo, although we never actually saw Viridi fight in Kid Icarus Uprising, unfortunately. So you would just have to do a lot of assuming and a lot of like hey, Palutena uses wings. I guess Reedy can use like, I don't know, tree hands or just some. There wouldn't really be a lot of base off of, but having Reedy in this game or having some other Kid representation of any kind, even just as an echo, would be phenomenal in my opinion. So all the like retro characters, Duck Hunt, Ice Climbers, Rob, I don't really see any of them getting echoes, especially since all of them only had like one game, and Rob isn't even really like a character per se. So there'd be nothing really to base off of him, since he doesn't really have his own franchise per se. And Ice Climbers and Duck Hunt, there's no other characters in those games outside of those named characters. Captain Falcon, just some other racer from F-Zero, maybe Black Shadow or just someone else. If it was Black Shadow, they'd be another villain to face. Although it'd be kind of funny to have Black Shadow when Ganondorf is already kind of a Captain Falcon clone. Although at this point they've differentiated Ganondorf enough to have Black Shadow be a more or less straight clone of Falcon, and it would work just fine in my opinion. Maybe he just hits a little stronger and moves a little slower. Not as slow as Ganondorf does, but maybe somewhere in the middle there. Villager, I'd be kind of surprised and maybe even a little impressed if Isabelle isn't a Villager Echo, because I'm pretty sure they haven't shown Isabelle's assist trophy yet, so she could easily be an Echo for Villager. The next one is actually pretty interesting because this is an idea that I've had for a while now, ever since I noticed in Smash 4, Olimar and Alf were the same character. But so far in Smash 5, all of the media has only shown Olimar. We've not gotten a single image of Alf being in this game as far as I can tell. So it would be pretty interesting if they kept the concept of having two or more Pikmin characters being in the same slot, just to its logical extreme, and have Olimar, Louie, and the President from Pikmin 2 be one character, and then Alpha Betty Charlie be another character that's an echo of Olimar, Louie, the President. I just think that would just make a lot of sense. I never really understood why it was only Alf, especially since you had all 8 of the Koopalings, including Bowser Jr. Why only Olimar and Louie, since Alf, Betty, and Charlie more or less worked as a team, and not like it wasn't like Alf was like the the main character. I guess Alf has the closest body type to Olimar, and you would have to kind of shrink Charlie down a little bit to make it work, but they could make it work. Wii Fit Trainer, I don't really see them having an echo. Shulk, people might get mad at this, but I think Rex could easily be an echo character, especially since apparently the roster was finalized in early 2016. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 probably wasn't... It was probably in development, but what probably wasn't like so far along that Sakurai could like take a lot of inspiration from Xenoblade 2 and make a brand new character for Rex. So just having Rex more or less as an echo of Shulk, I feel would be a way to represent that game in Smash 5 without putting too much resources into it. Or if they wanted to have Rex be DLC down the line, that's fine, but if they felt they needed to have Xenoblade 2 have representation, but they just needed to kind of get in there real quick, having Rex be an echo makes sense to me. Inklings, obviously the Octolings. Kind of a situation where, like I said before, generally I'm going to assume that every newcomer will not have an echo, but the Octolings just seem different. I don't know. They got their own expansion in Splatoon 2. Splatoon just in general is insanely popular, so having two representatives of that game just makes sense to me. So yeah, Octolings. I'm not like expecting it, but it wouldn't be surprising if it happened. Mies, I don't see it happening. Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, obviously. All you have to do was add a bow to Pac-Man. Boom, Miss Pac-Man. Mega Man, maybe Proto Man. I'm not sure if Proto Man ever like took abilities and other powers from Robot Masters that he beat. I think you play it. You can play as him in either Mega Man 9 and or 10. I'm just not sure if he can use abilities of other Robot Masters. Same situation with Bass. Bass could easily be an Echo if the lore makes sense for that. I'm just not sure. I haven't played the games where you can play as either of those characters, so I'm not entirely sure. But just having another Mega Man rep would be fine with me. Sonic, either Shadow or Metal Sonic makes sense to me. Probably more likely Shadow, since we haven't seen his assist trophy yet, and he seems to be more popular than Metal Sonic. So either one, but Shadow is more likely. Cloud, never touched Final Fantasy VII. No idea if there's a good representative to be a clone of him. Maybe there is, maybe there's not. I don't have enough knowledge to judge. So if there is, cool. If they're not, whatever. Ryu, either a Ken or a Kuma. And I feel like this would be kind of meta in a way because Ken and Akuma are already blatant clones of Ryu in Street Fighter anyway. So just having them be echoes of Ryu in Smash Bros makes a lot of sense. I would be so mad if they were introduced in this game not with the label of Echo. Like if they were in Smash 4, or if the Echo label didn't exist at all, but since they're clearly saying, hey, we know these are clones, but we're giving them a fancy name, so it's okay, I'd be relatively fine with it. I personally would prefer Akuma, just so, again, we can have another villain in this game, plus I'm not really a big fan of Ken, period, so. Snake. Haven't really played Metal Gear, but I feel like Big Boss or someone like Liquid Ocelot or some other boss and or main character that fights similar to Snake could easily work. Big Boss, I think, has the highest chance, especially since, if I'm not mistaken, the Snake that's in Smash is literally a clone in Metal Gear of Big Boss, so that could easily work. Or backwards, I'm not never touched Metal Gear, so I could be wrong about that, but that's from my memory. I think they have some connect. Either Big Boss or Snake is a clone of the other one. Simon Belmont, we already have Richter. And then Bayonetta, I'm not sure if they've shown off her Jean costume yet, the red one. If they have, then Jean probably will not be an Echo, but if they haven't, then she's an easy Echo. Or the Balder from Bayonetta 2. It might be like a little different since he does fight with a spear, but I feel they could easily make it work. He also fights with like big monsters, big attacks like Bayonetta does. So it would take a little more working, especially if they did want to include his spear, but if they wanted to make it work, then just go for it. So that's all of my ideas for potential Echoes in Smash 5. Are there any that you think I missed? Just have general Smash discussions in the comment section. Like I said, I haven't talked much about this game. I would like to talk a lot more about it in the future, especially after it even comes out. So yeah, what other Echoes do you want in this game? What other characters in general? What stages? What new modes are you looking forward to? What new stuff in general do you want? What do you hope a story mode's like? Just any and all of these questions, answer them down below. Like, have a discussion going, and I will see you later.